So we're going to bring out Kebra Givens from Givens Family Child Care.
Hi, my name is Kebra Givens. Again, my business is Givens Family Child Care. It was so funny how this business came to me. I was the HR director for about 8 years, and I working in a social service agency, was inspired by their work, so I went to adopt a little girl. Now, when you work in HR recruiting or setting up offices, you don't always work traditional schedules. So sometimes I'd either be working late or weekends, or I'd have to travel for work, but then I wouldn't have any place to place my child. So she started having some behavioral problems, which led me to take off. And from there, I would get offers, and they still wanted me to travel until, I wouldn't be able to work an 8 to 5. So I was looking in my area for 24/7 childcare, and there wasn't one. So I thought to myself, I was taking classes for her, and I thought to myself, I'll start a 24/7 childcare where I provide high quality childcare for the safety of the children, and I could be convenient and be a resource to the parent. Or I could drop them off, pick them up. You could tell me that you were late or you have a meeting, and then I can accommodate you. My values are innovative and service. Yeah, it's so amazing how people do things the same way. All the child cares in my area will operate from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Okay, what if you have a meeting at 6 p.m.? And they weren't meeting the professionals of today. So that's when I started thinking of how I would do it and how it would be different, and the funding resources that were available to me. Again, I operate 24/7. I'm open evening, weekends, and overnights. And I do pickups and drop-off as long as you arrange. If there's an emergency, as long as I know 60 minutes beforehand, and then I also know other child caregivers that can come to your home. My beachhead market is low-income to middle-income parents. I look for parents who work around the clock. I used to, because really being a mom is a 24/7 type of job. There's times where you have appointments or you need to be at school, and I wanted to be able to accommodate them being a single mom. It was so amazing to me coming from a business aspect, because I didn't even become a mom until I was like 40. It's amazing to me with a business background how people think that you're only supposed to operate in banker's hours. Well, kids get sick different times, and with businesses, they don't care. If they have a meeting, you need to be there. So from that perspective, then I started building my business just so I could be a resource for the parent and also ensure the care of the children. Monthly gross income is about $8,000 a month. I'm licensed with the state of California for 8 children. I have 3 different shifts. My funding comes from cash. Crystal Stairs is a funding resources that funds low income and those who are returning back to work. And they pay for the majority of it. It's about $1,000 a child. That's really my cash cow who I go after. DCFS pays a little less. Crystal Stair also has after 6 differential. My federal food program that I'm on is paid through, pays for all the meals for the children, and it's through the federal government. So as long as I shop the ads and try and feed them nutritious meals according to their guidelines, they pay for it, and it's way more than what I'm actually spending on them. Projected growth, I'm thinking about 16,000. I still need to go after the funds with Department of Mental Health has some funds that's available for child care, Charles Drew, and there's also child care grants. I can grow just in my home to 14 to have 14 kids versus 8. But I would have to hire an assistant. I couldn't do it where I'd have people on call. I'd have to have an assistant. And the money that I need is to get a child care facility. My goal for 2017 is to move the business outside of my home. Then I can even raise my numbers to 42. But I would want to be near either like I was thinking about a factory or the post office or a hospital, someplace that, I work. And that was another thing that was hard for me when I was an HR professional, is telling other parents, oh no, I need you to be here, or I need you at the hospital at this time, knowing that they didn't have childcare. That's one thing I would like to provide. I'd like to be near them. So if they got on call, and I remember one time, it was so sad, I had a single father who was a psychiatrist, and he had a child that was there was a client that was having a breakdown. So he went from one hospital to another, and he had his child, and we had to find what was the hospital that he left his child in. You should be able to call someone and they should help you. You shouldn't have to make decisions like that. Any questions?
Wow, very nice. All right.
We got time.
So right now you're bringing in 8,000 gross. What's your estimated net?
It's 5, because I still have my mortgage to pay, utilities, and then kids' tariff stuff.
So how much are you being paid yourself?
With my, it was so funny because I also have foster kids. I've had them for like 2 years. It's so funny. I was putting so much into the business that I wasn't even getting anything.
Right.
So
That's
now
typical,
I said to I thought that was really strange. So now I'm like, you have got to get yourself some type of salary.
Yeah.
That's true.
So are you doing that now? You're taking
Yeah, I'm doing it now. And the way I'm doing it now is because at first I used to buy everything new. Now I buy used, and I didn't used to do the food ads. It's kind of the stuff that your mom teaches you that you don't want to listen to. So, and then I don't take them to the McDonald's and Starbucks so much, but then that freed me up for money and not so many toys. I mean, because they don't need all those toys. So, from there my profit grew. It was always there. I was just misusing it.
So your salary is close to 5,000, or you have a little bit reserved? for marketing?
I have some reserved for marketing, and I'm building up my reserve. Yeah.
I love the idea and the demographic. This seems really appealing. You've got that grant angle. And having worked in a hospital then though too, I'm wondering, could you go back to your HR friends? Because I think this could be a good benefit that, not everybody would qualify for the age you're getting, but I would want to know the nurses and doctors taking care of me, they have a 24/7 option. My wife and I are two working folks who sometimes had to work past, 6, or when I was new, I got 7 o'clock classes.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is I'm just surprised I've never heard this idea before. Like, I could have used this before my oldest turned 12. So the hospital, versus the factory, the hospital seems like the sweet spot with your background.
I'm currently licensed from 0 to 12, but I was looking at the laws. You can leave I think they're 14 years old at home by themselves, but you can't leave them overnight. So I said to myself, once I grow, I have to change my license so I can and that's just a matter of documentation, because you can write down how many and what age or whatever
So you're not
when you submit it.
24/7 now?
No, I am 24/7, but when I go to
But you're only 8.
her age, I want
By age?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So there's flexibility with my age because I could do older because a lot of people don't want to leave their teenagers at home alone at night. So I was thinking about that, and if I do have some HR friends that do work in hospitals, so I would want to get close to there. I've been looking for property in different facilities. I'm in Compton right now, so I'm able to get different funding there, but I'm also looking at other areas too.
Okay, so you are in Compton now.
Correct.
So you're looking for...
Mhm.
The general area, what is staying at? General area or the city?
So are you close to Dominguez Hills? Is that?
Yes, I am.
Dominguez
I'm about
Hills
15.
professors?
Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes away from Dominguez Hills. I'm on the borderline of Carson, but I've been when I was thinking about growing, I was thinking about hospitals. I was thinking about do I need to be near aerospace? Who's working 24/7? Who can't call in and say I can't make it?
Well,
Because of my kid.
They'll be busy, but they make too much, so that's why it's kind of
Yeah.
two different markets.
It's
right?
weird.
They're going to want upscale too, and they'll want new toys, but you maybe charge more.
Mhm.
Compton, Inglewood, some of those hospitals make sense. So
Correct.
Your real estate decision will be really, really important.
That's true. That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, you just really have to key on your demographic of who your main customer is going to be.
Mhm.
But don't, you don't have to choose. You can bifurcate this and have, low income, moderate income, and double income type, families, because of the same problem exists in each economic level. And I would say geographically, you want to stay close to your low to moderate income type clients, but at the same time, bring in the South Bay, Carson type. You have a lot of hospitals down here, a lot of aerospace, a lot of manufacturers here. So if you could find a nice medium location that projects safety, security, and in a nice facility, that's going to draw all your clients.
That's what I learned, because at first I used to only concentrate on the low income, moderate income, because those were the ones that had the funds. But it's the same problem regardless. If you have to be at work, you have to be at work. So
and that can augment your federally public-driven clientele versus cash
Correct.
clientele.
Correct.
If you can focus on that 6 o'clock to midnight demographic, and then there's an added service for them, right? So I would then, I would want you to have somebody able to tutor my kids in their homework. Because what am I not doing when I'm there? I want them to do better there.
And dinner.
And I can, I'll pay an extra $10 an hour for that person to help with their algebra, whatever they're doing. But I wouldn't expect from a normal provider. But if you just had that safety, there's so many moms and dads, I think, that would be excited to know there's a place I can go to that I don't have to worry about being late. Or
And for my overnights, I take them to school. And then if you let me know in advance, I'll pick them up. So that works for them, because there's, in the Long Beach area, which is close to me too, there's a lot of clubs. And they have to be at work at a certain time, or they don't get off until a certain time.
So get up at 1 or 2 in the morning.
Correct.
Okay, a couple more questions? Yes, Alexis?
Is it how big is your staff? Is it just you, a one-woman show?
It's me at this point, but I do have people that I call on call. But I'm still trying to train, and this is like my baby. I still have that technician thing going that is like, nobody can do this like me.
Right.
And it's just like, so it's just like, okay. But finding a good caregiver is something that I would want. Because they're a vulnerable population. I mean, they're kids.
Well, you also need a driver, it sounds like, too, if you're doing pickups and
Driving wouldn't be too bad, because there's a lot of senior population, and you can just pay them to do that.
Yeah.
And that's not too bad. But as far as like, for some reason, I want to be
So
there.
if you're taking care of somebody, but then you have to go pick up somebody, how does that work?
I can pay someone to do that. Like, I can use the senior population
Are
for
you
that.
doing that? You can, but are you
see.
currently doing that?
I do that for pickups for school. Yeah, I do that. Because I don't always like to leave them, because that's the dinner hour.
Alexis, you had a question?
Well, actually, I was just going to say, so before,
And it's not that expensive.
I used to work with a lot of large companies, and what they do is they actually pay for childcare for their employees.
You know what? I tried to implement that in my company, and it got shut down. But dreams come true.
Dependent daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also they
But
can
some
do
companies do
the
it.
flex
At your
spending.
point.
they still
You
do
can use it
it.
for
Yeah.
flex spending.
Flexible
Yeah.
spending.
They said the insurance was too much to do it within our facility, but maybe I can partner with another company as long as we do it off-site, because maybe they just don't want the liability of it having it on-site.
Right, it's
Correct.
not on site, you have your own location.
Mhm.
They hire you, the company pays for their employees.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so then when you do that, like you're talking about the hospitals, but mine were private, and they used to do that.
That's a good idea.
So exactly what you're talking about, it was just private companies that would pay for their employees. It's kind of like a bonus to have them there to be able to work,
For their, as their
hours.
benefits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the real keys, she realized she's a technician today doing all the work. She wants to become an entrepreneur where she hires people to replace her. So one of the things that she had told me about was having maybe 5 places over the next 5 years. So start one, bring in a staff, and now she's supervising that. And one of the questions gets into, are you in the real estate business or are you in the child care business? Because when you start acquiring, are you buying these properties or are you renting these properties? So there's a couple ways and strategic things that she needs to discover. But I think she has the right idea. Her real thing is giving quality child care to after hours. And I think that's a big need there. So we got a couple questions. Amber, did you have a question?
I do, actually. I was just thinking of the possibility, if this was all, ironed out and scalable, if you had this all locked down to where you could franchise it. This is
Yes.
a really great idea, especially for the military community.
Oh, that's a good idea.
being near military bases, franchising to the parents who need these portable careers. They need to get licensed in their states
Wow.
and so forth. But if they were able to have that additional income and be able to help their, other enlisted families around them, this could be like a nationwide.
That could be amazing.
That all locked down. So I could have used it.
Sure.
Wow.
Okay, one last, any in the audience back there? Okay, Professor Norman?
I'm just going to say, to build on that, the other avenue to explore is why don't you become the Uber of 24/7? So you could franchise it, or you could create the sharing economy, because you got to find good providers and you got to find customers. And there's two markets. So you have the HR expertise. Maybe you can come up with a good way of doing the background check, training. So some people are using your service one day, they're watching somebody else's kids the next day. So look at the sharing economy, because I see there's a lot of moms and dads who might actually be able to be good employees, and that could let you kind of scale. And I just think, if you're Uber of anything, that gets you a lot of free marketing. So
Yeah, because within the childcare environment, most of the who are providers they would never think about doing twilight hours. But like you need them.
Let's give Kevin a good hand.
Thank you. I appreciate your insight.